Here at Gundam Planet, we're all about completionism, and we haven't built all the IBO high grades yet, and I guess we're going to do that. This might not have been my first choice, but I'll contribute to the cause. So this is the Hyakuren, and I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I don't really know anything about the Hyakuren, and I have not watched all of Gundam IBO. Not because I don't want to, but I kind of just forgot. And the dub is happening, so I'm definitely interested in watching it, so I'm going to get around to it. But that will give me they'll give me a complete lack of character bias, unlike Nick, who went in on Ein when he talked about the Grey's Ein. Like, that wasn't okay. I'm going into this blank slate. This is just pure objective review of this mobile suit. So let's just take a look. So, polycaps. Whoa, that's new. But you got some white here, and like this white is pretty okay. It's like almost more glossy and thick than other whites I've seen in high grades, but it's not bad. You got a little bit of gray parts here, you know. It sure has some gray parts, but this is what I've been waiting for. These two here. I like this blue and I like this light purple. These are good colors. I appreciate these colors. And I like the detail on these parts. Like, all the IBO stuff definitely has a different look than we're used to with Gundam stuff, so, you know, I definitely think this is neat looking. So, I'm pretty excited for it on that, just on, like, an originality level. And you got this last runner here, which is a bunch of more gray stuff, and it has the gun and this cool knife sword thing, which I think is a really neat weapon. Iron Blooded Orphans has a lot of really cool weapons, and this is actually my favorite one. I think it's a really neat way to do a sword. Then you got your gun here, and yeah, there's like almost nothing going on in this thing. Very simple construction. I built the high-grade Barbados like a while ago, and that was really simple. This looks to be like a very similar design philosophy, which makes sense. And yep, you look in the runner. Yep, this is like a 10-step build, so it's gonna go together real quick. But if it's anything like the Barbados, then I'm probably gonna enjoy it. All right, so here is the Hyakuren finished, and you know, there's really not a whole lot to say about it, but like I'll just keep it totally real with you guys. This was a very simple build, and there really just wasn't enough going on in the build for it to be really enjoyable. I found the build itself to be pretty boring, and you know, it's very simple, just a couple polycaps, couple pieces, snap it all together, and it really just is what it is. But if you can look past that, this is a pretty solid looking high grade, and if you're in it for the finished product because you like the Hyakuren, then I don't really think this will disappoint you too much. But it still really isn't that spectacular. The look is solid. And, you know, what I was really surprised was, honestly, when I was looking at him, I was like, oh, he's probably not going to stand. He's kind of got weird proportions. The thighs are kind of big. The body overall is kind of wide. And these feet are really tiny. But he actually stands no problem. So that's actually pretty impressive. And overall, it really just kind of gets the job done. So let's go up close so I can show you guys the accessories and how it all works. Okay, so first things first, I have no accessories on the table because all two of the accessories are on him right now, which is pretty cool, but also kind of disappointing because there's only two accessories, and as with all the other IBO high grades, they want to sell you the other accessories in those expansion sets, and that's just kind of what it is. But the two accessories you do get are pretty cool. So first thing he's got in his hand, he's got this gun here, and like, it's a pretty neat gun, and I'm already knocking things off of him, but it's a pretty neat gun. It's not very well detailed, and you definitely need to do some painting on it if you want to get it to look exactly the way it should. But I don't really have too much complaints because it looks right. Now on the back, we have his pretty cool butcher knife sword thing that I'm actually really into this weapon. As you can see, it pegs in really nicely on the back, so if you want to display it on the robot, you can. And another neat thing about it is it has this cover here that just kind of slides on. So there's your knife sword thing, and then if you want to cover it up and store it, you just slide that right over real easy. Does a real nice job. But this is a really unique looking weapon, and I'm pretty into it. So that's a cool thing about the Hyakuren. So as far as the accessories go, that's it. You don't get any extra hands. You don't get any extra weapons other than what I just showed you. That's all it is to it. So, you know, it kind of is what it is, but it is a little disappointing. And we'll talk about the posability now. It's pretty standard as far as posability goes, but there's nothing bad about the posability. You get really good bend in the elbow. You know, that's the thing. I think I'll just say this right now. When you're posing it, things tend to fall off, and that's not something I'm really into because it's hard to move them around without accidentally knocking the shoulder off, or like you saw earlier, I knocked the skirt armor off. So that's kind of disappointing, but if you can work around it, the posability is still there. Like I said, nice bend at the elbow. Moving on to the legs, you get a pretty good bend at the legs. It would be a better bend if the armor wasn't so thick, and it just kind of, you know, the armor's big, so it's going to inhibit the posability, and there's no like armor gimmicks on it because it's a high grade, so that's how it is. And as far as the skirt armor goes, I keep knocking it off, but it moves up and down and moves side to side, and it's pretty okay, but the connection there is pretty loose for whatever reason. It's your pretty standard polycap skirt armor joint, but it kind of leaves a little bit to be desired. And that's pretty much it as far as posability goes. You know, standard leg joints. The head moves around okay. It's kind of a weird head, but there's really nothing inhibiting the posing of it. And that's really just kind of it. It does everything your basic high grade would do. Some things could be better, but for the most part, it's pretty good. Alright, so that's pretty much everything there is to see about the high-grade Hyakuren. Like I said earlier, if you like the Hyakuren, well, this is pretty much your only choice. In fact, it is definitely your only choice, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't do a pretty good job of being what it wants to be. The posing is pretty good, the accessories are okay, it's all just pretty okay, but I can't really say it was bad. So if you like the Hyakuren, you're definitely not going to feel like ripped off by this thing. Definitely go for it. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope what I showed you guys, the Hyakuren, made it seem like maybe, you know, something you might be interested in, maybe something you're not interested in, but I hope regardless, I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to check out our other videos that we did, because, you know, say this every time, we have a whole bunch of videos. We hope you guys enjoy them. And then also be sure to check out our boy Marsound, who does all the music you hear in our videos. He does really good work. Description of his SoundCloud in the link to his SoundCloud in the bottom in the description. So be sure to check that out. And as always, guys, I'll see you next time.